Hello and welcome to one of the most overpowered vehicles in Gran Turismo 7. This is the Suzuki V6 Escudo Pikes Peak Special. And in this video I'm going to give you 3 reasons as to why you need to own this vehicle. So the first thing we're going to talk about is performance. Now, if you look at this vehicle, the first thing you're going to notice is either the massive rear wing or the massive front splitter. Now these are used for creating as much downforce as possible, allowing the car to go around corners as fast as possible. Now the car actually produces so much downforce that it'll actually throw you off as to how fast you can actually push this vehicle around some corners. But when you're driving a vehicle standard, you're actually going to notice a bit of understeer. So you're going to have to actually let off the accelerator and let the car actually regain control. Because if you keep your foot flat going around the corner, the car will actually start running wide and you won't have much steering response unless you actually lift off. Now, I think the elephant in the room has to be the amount of power that this car actually produces. So, when you first pick this vehicle up, it will have 980 plus brake horsepower. That is an insane amount for a vehicle that still has the capability to increase that figure. And what's even more mental to think about is the fact this car only weighs around 800 kgs. So standard, the car has more power than it has weight, and that paired with the massive downforce of the vehicle makes it an absolute weapon. Now in my eyes, whenever I see a car that has great power, lightweight, amazing handling, there has to be a drawback. So the first thing that I always lean towards has to be the braking system. However, with this car's braking system is out of this world. Now the car is actually so good, you can't actually treat it like any normal vehicle. You actually have to change the way you think on when you can brake, when you can start accelerating, because this car is completely different to any road car, even the other Group 3, Group 1 vehicles in the game. It is such a unique vehicle that there isn't really something that I can compare it to. Now there is one car that comes to mind when thinking about comparing it once we fully upgrade it. And when we fully upgrade it, we actually see the car's power take a jump up to almost 1200 brake horsepower. And that's the Dodge Tomahawk Vision GT. And that's a fictional vehicle to just showcase where everyone thinks the cars are gonna be in 2035. And this is a car from 1998. We should not be able to compare those two vehicles, but somehow we are. The car is extremely responsive, it's extremely quick when it comes to handling. It's so responsive. You really have to treat this vehicle unlike any other car in the game. When it comes to braking, you have to brake a lot later, you have to turn in a lot later, you get on the power a lot sooner. The car really is just all over the place when it is fully upgraded. And oh my word, is it an absolute blast. It is one of the fastest cars you can get behind the wheel of. And what stands out compared to other Group 1 cars or any other fast vehicles is the versatility of this car. And that is actually the second reason why you should purchase the Suzuki Escudo. Now the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak is one of the few vehicles that I know of that can destroy the competition when it comes to any money grinding event in Gran Turismo 7. Now in Gran Turismo 7 there are 4 main money events. There is the WTC 800 around Sardinia. This car makes absolute mincemeat of these Group 3 vehicles. As you can see from the gameplay on screen right now, it looks like the Suzuki is actually sped up compared to the cars that it's actually competing against. And the thing is, the car doesn't even have bad fuel efficiency to make it be like, oh, you know, there is a con compared to the other cars you're competing against. The Suzuki has way too much power, way too much downforce, and is incredible around corners and makes it an absolute cakewalk when it comes to participating in this event. But let's say you're not happy with Sardinia, the event doesn't pay much, or whatever the reason is, you don't want to use it. You prefer using it around the WTC 700 around Le Mans. This vehicle is honestly something else. There are only I think 3 vehicles that I know of that can complete this event. It's a 30-minute event, and this car can do 8 laps within that 30-minute time frame. There aren't many vehicles that can actually do that. Usually it's while you're still on your 7th lap, the time runs out. The Suzuki Escudo was setting lap times of under 3 minutes and 50 seconds around the circuit, and that is still keeping into account that you still have to go through the AI. While playing on the hardest difficulty, you'd swear you're on easy because of how good the Suzuki Escudo actually is compared to whatever cars you actually throw at it. Now let's say, okay, you're tired of playing at Le Mans, you don't want to do Sardinia. Well, there's always Tokyo Expressway. Yes, we can get the performance points of this vehicle under the 600 pp limit. Now yes, it is tricky to actually get this car under the 600 pp limit, but if you do manage to do it, I have a video out on how you can actually do it. So if you manage to do it, this will give you the fastest way to make money in Gran Turismo 7, as you will earn over 2 million credits in under an hour of gameplay. And as you can see, before you even reach the first turn on this event, you're already in first place. This car is just too overpowered for whatever event you actually throw at it. Now the only event that I think will give this car a run for its money is the Neoclassical Challenge. Those events feature cars from the same time era as this, and those are Group 1 vehicles, Group 3 vehicles, and some of the fastest cars in the game. So obviously this car is going to be really pushed to its limits, but this is when you will really see the full capability of the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak, and that is when you will fully fall in love with the vehicle. I mean, the minute you get behind the wheel of this car, you are going to fall in love with it immediately because of how the car actually performs. It's just mind-blowing how incredible the performance of this vehicle actually is. And now, since we're finished with the performance and the versatility, oh, and by the way, if you want for just shits and giggles, you can slap on some dirt tires and take this thing off-road, because this thing is all-wheel drive and is incredibly fast and incredibly scary to use off-road, but it is such a blast. And the last reason that I'm going to give you to actually own this vehicle is going to be its legendary status. So now, the only way you can get this vehicle in Gran Turismo 7 is by acquiring it from the legendary dealership. Now, because it's in the legendary dealership, the vehicle works with the rotation. And this car was actually bugged, where it has not been in the legendary dealership for almost 9 months. This is the first time it's coming back in almost an entire year. The car, everyone thought, oh, you know, okay, I'm not going to purchase it now, I'll wait for it to come back. And it just wasn't coming back. But luckily they finally fixed the bug and you can actually pick the vehicle up. Now, for 1.7 million, you are actually buying a piece of Gran Turismo history. The car was first featured in the Gran Turismo franchise in Gran Turismo 2, and it has appeared in each major title ever since then. The car, at first, when it was in Gran Turismo 2, was capable of doing over 410 kilometers per hour. Then they saw, okay, wait, this car is actually a bit too overpowered. And then as the games kept coming out, they just kept adding the turbo lag and understeer to the vehicle to make it less competitive. Even they knew the car was incredibly overpowered already back in Gran Turismo 2. Now, today, GT7, almost 20 years later, the car is still incredibly overpowered. And I love that they haven't completely ruined the car throughout its progression. Yes, they've added turbo lag, they've added understeer, but the car is still incredible. And that's why I love it, and you should too. That's why you need to own the Suzuki V6 Escudo Pikes Peak Special. The car will never steer you wrong, and it is going to be one of the best driving experiences you will ever have in any Gran Turismo game. And as a bonus reason why you should pick this vehicle up is that it is used in the fastest money method in Gran Turismo 7. So if you want to see that video, click your screen right now and it'll take you there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.